Hi there and welcome to Old Shoes, to my YouTube channel where I show some of my prized possessions and how to care for them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like shoes. And today we're going to talk a little bit about a pair of Gucci bookbinder loafers, as you can see here. Now the bookbinder it's a kind of leather with a layer of protective stuff on top. Some people say it's acrylic or some synthetic kind of protective layer. And I also feel a little bit ambivalent about it, because it means that you can't really nourish and polish them properly, because you've got that layer on top that prevents the creams and the lotions and the polish to go through into the leather. But I find that sapphire is good for most things regarding leather. There's a sapphire renovateur, and I use that with the bookbinder shoes, and these are 20 years old and they haven't cracked at all. I mean, they've got a bit of creasing there, but they haven't cracked. And some people complain that these bookbinder shoes, after a while, they crack and they make ugly and they start chipping off and they make these ugly lines on the shoe and so on. So I'm just gonna put on some of the sapphire renovateur, and I'm also going to show you they've got new heels, these shoes. But first of all, we're gonna brush off the renovateur with this horse's mane brush that I've got, and as you can see, they're nice and shiny. I mean, that's one of the main reasons for this bookbinder finish on shoes, is that your shoes are very shiny with it on. I mean, all sorts of other brands like Church and others use it too. I've got some bookbinder Churches as well, so it's fairly easy to get off the renovateur. And these Gucci loafers are of course legendary shoes. These ones are 20 years old, so you can see they're quite old-fashioned now. They've got the square toe, but you know what, these toe shapes and so on, they come and go. And I'm pretty sure they might be in fashion again sometime soon, but I don't mind wearing them. They look nice enough. And so I had a bit of a problem with the heels that were wearing off, and I had them fixed recently, just in fact yesterday. And as you can see, a cobbler put on a quarter rubber heel for me. But what's interesting is that normally they've got the whole unit with both the rubber and the leather, but he didn't have that, and he put on a separate piece of rubber and a separate piece of leather. And he did quite a good job, and it didn't cost me a lot of money either. I think it was about 10 euros or so. So it was a really cheap job, but it looks nice, and I'm quite glad I discovered this guy. He's very reasonable. And he reckons he can even resell these for me if needed sometime in the future, although the leather soles are still quite good. Of course, Gucci uses the Blake method of construction, as opposed to some of the more English brands where you have a Goodyear welt. It's actually easier to resole. So I haven't had a pair of Blake shoes resold, but I think I'm going to try this guy sometime on one of my pairs of shoes to see what he can do with a Blake shoe in putting on a new sole. Now, what's interesting about the Gucci heels is that there's normally the layer here with a quarter rubber, and underneath it there's another layer of rubber before you get to the leather, and that's to protect the shoe if somebody wears the heels down too much. You've got another protective layer of rubber before you get into the leather. And mine wasn't, it was sort of at the beginning of that protective leather layer. So I decided to get the new heels. I can show you on another pair of Gucci shoes that I've got here what it looks like. Here you've got the heel, you know, the quarter rubber, and these are fairly worn down already as well, going down there. But as you can see, all of that, this whole piece is actually rubber. So the leather starts there. So I've still got about a millimeter or so left of rubber before I'm going to go into the leather part of the heel. And I'll definitely, you know, within the foreseeable future, I'll pay another visit to this guy. This is my new cobbler, and he can put on a pair of heels for me, as he did for this shoe. Of course, these are the horsebit, famous horsebit Gucci design with the Gucci colors there. I didn't pay a lot of money for them at all. They were on a sale way back then, 20 years ago. I mean, Gucci is a bit of a kind of a drug dealer's brand, or kind of corrupt African politicians, or they absolutely love them. They steal the money and then they buy Gucci shoes. I suppose that keeps the Gucci going. But it's a pity that, you know, the wrong kind of people have started wearing Gucci because it's such a powerful brand and so famous. So I'm not exactly, you know, a kind of a Gucci fanatic. I don't look at brands so much. When I buy shoes, I look at the quality and the comfort and the durability. And yeah, I quite like these shoes. I've had them for 20 years. I've worn them quite often. They're quite hard. The leather is quite hard, and so you know, they took a bit of breaking in, and but now they're very comfortable and, you know, sturdy, and you can wear them quite often if you like, and they're quite durable too, as you can see after 20 years. In fact, I discovered I still had the box for them, and now I keep them in the box. But the box had a bit of the paper part of the box on the outside was coming off, and then I kind of glued it this morning on that part, and I put in this little statuette here, as you can see, for a weight to hold it together while the glue dries. But I think I can take it out now, and yeah, and look at it. Yeah, there you've got it. It's glued. It's glued there now, and I'm gonna just put them back in the box to wear them sometime. So we'll rebox them. Yeah, of my 20-year-old Gucci loafers. I can't really get them in the box because it's quite a narrow box, so I can't get them in the box with shoe trees. So I'm going to put them in without shoe trees, because normally after having worn them I use shoe trees, so they're fine. And they originally came with this dust bag, a single dust bag, and it got a bit dirty at one time because I didn't use a box. I just kept them in the dust bag. But then my wife put it through the washing machine, and now it looks, you know, it's quite clean and nice looking again. So yeah, there they are. I'll put the lid back on. I can go back into my shoe cupboard. And yes, next time we'll talk about another pair of shoes. Some of my interesting in my shoes in my collection. It's a never-ending, well, just caring for them and looking after them. I find it takes up about half an hour of my time every day just to first to choose which shoes to wear, and then the state they're in, and if they're fairly new I don't have to worry about that, but if they're getting older I have to look at the heels and the sole and so on and see whether they've got to be fixed or not. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and next time we'll have some more old shoes to discuss.